Well, good to see you guys. My name is Jeff Roby, inventory manager with Nike, based out of our Memphis distribution network. Talk about leading with purpose. How do you create a one-team culture within your operation, your building, your teams, your businesses, and ultimately, how do you empower your people? But before that, I figured since it's Las Vegas, there's a lot of magic tricks and everything going on there. I figured, well, shoot, let's start off with a little magic trick. Okay, so I have an invisible deck here. You didn't see the other deck before that. That's why I still have a day job, folks. I got an invisible deck here. I just need an audience member or a volunteer. Who we got? Nobody. Just need one person. Okay, here we go. I got a victim. Volunteer. No, you can sit down. You can stay seated. You got this. Here, I'm gonna toss you this invisible deck. Oh, you just dropped it. You gotta pick it up. That's all right. That's all right. I got you back. All right. So you're gonna open it up. You're gonna fan it out, and the person next to you, you can just draw a card from that deck. And you can look at it. You can show your neighbor. There you go. You put it back in the deck. You put it upside down. That's all right. That's all right. You put it back in the thing. You throw it up here. There you go. Oh, thank you. I got you back. You're awesome. Now, real quick, what was the card that you pulled? Ace of Spades. You sure? Sure wasn't like a king or... Okay, we will make it work. Ace of Spades. All right, let's see what happens. So you accidentally put it upside down. So let's see. I don't know. Let's see what here. So we got Ace of Spades. Yeah. I don't know. Are you sure it's Ace of Spades? Okay, all right, let's see. Oh, that's weird. What was your card one more time? Fingers crossed. YouTube work, folks. Let's see what happens. Ace of Spades. All right. Give it up for the volunteer. All right. That's what's up. YouTube worked. So just like that card, folks, that was hidden in leadership, it's our job to seek and find the hidden potential in our operations, in our teams. Because there's a lot of hidden potential there. And so talking about leading with purpose. And so Viktor Frankl, an Austrian psychiatrist, wrote a book back in 1946 titled Man's Search for Meaning. And he told about his experience of surviving the Nazi concentration camps and really how he survived and actually thrived through that horrific experience. And he actually boiled it down to three things, finding work that has meaning and significance, doing work that has meaning and significance, loving and taking care of people, and ultimately finding courage, even in the darkest of times. And even he said in that book, those who have a why to live can bear almost any how. And actually kind of reminded me of a similar experience that I went through back 6 years ago, going through a divorce with my ex-wife, and stumbled upon Spartan races. Anybody ever heard of Spartan races or Tough Mudders? Those things are horribly awesome. So got into Spartan races, like 24-hour hurricane heats where they just beat you up for 24 straight hours. It's lots of fun. You should sign up and try one. But before we do any of those events, they do what's called a centering exercise, where they ask you to bring a postcard. And you sit there and they have you think through, hey, why are you at this event? Why are you why are you paying us to beat you up for the next 24 hours? And the reason why they do that is because whenever you're 8, 12, 16 hours in, man, you're tired. Sometimes you're bleeding, crying. I've cried at every single one of these. And you feel like giving up. They tell you, go back to why. Go back to your why. Because if you know what your why is, you can go through some of the most horrific things that you can ever imagine. You can do things that you never thought possible. And so for me, back during that time period of my life, I wrote the names of my kids down, Kylie and Joseph. Amazing little rugrats. Kylie's almost 11 now. Joseph's almost 9. And so that's really why I pushed myself, and that's why I'm here with you guys today. And eventually would continue to push myself forward, trying to be the best version of myself I could possibly be. My vision eventually grew to how can I be a better leader for my team? How can I show up better for them? Because at the end of the day, they're people. They have hopes and dreams and aspirations. And how can I help enable them to achieve everything that they want to be? Eventually, my vision continued to grow. And how can I impact my friends, family, even my own community, and even, how can I be my best for this beautiful one right here, my fiance, Kira, back in Memphis right now, and how can you continue to be the best partner I can be, because I learned a lot through that divorce, because I was not the best I could have been, and I learned through that experience. So talking all about that is, how do you define your why? How are you showing up every single day? Why do you do what you do? We can come into work, set Excel spreadsheets, help push boxes down the road, but ultimately, what is the ultimate why and impact that you have in the world? And it even goes into our businesses, the mission and vision statement. Have we really taken time to think through that? Because if we actually storytell and talk through that with our teams and really connect what they do on a day-to-day basis to an ultimate purpose of how we're impacting the world for the good, man, it turns those seemingly small tasks into something that's actually making a difference. And so for me at Nike, our mission and vision statement is, we are bringing innovation and inspiration to every athlete in the world. And there's a little asterisk next to athlete. Anybody know what the asterisk is? No Nike fans in here? Well, the asterisk means if you have a body, you are an athlete. There we go. That's what's up. Anybody believe that? Say aye. There we go. That's what's up. So for us, it's our mission to impact every single person on the planet through sports and athletics. And what I evangelize to my team every single week is like, hey, if you turn on the news, there's a lot of hurt and pain out there in the world. Amen. And sports and athletics has the ability to transcend all that hate and that hurt and that pain and bring people together through community, through sports and athletics. And I've experienced it in my own life, hanging out with these crazy people. And I storytell that with my team every day. So that turns, them coming into work, they're not just coming in, clocking in, packing and shipping in just a box. They're actually taking part of making a significant impact in the world. That's powerful. So thinking back through your business, your company, is it just a tagline on the wall that you just walk by every day? How are you connecting with your purpose in your business, in your personal life, and how are you storytelling that with your team to really make what you do every day purposeful? Amen. If you believe that, say aye. There we go. That's what's up. So that's the first point, is lead with purpose. Figure it out. And if you need some help, I got my contact information in the last slide. I kind of nerd out on this stuff. I have lots of different exercises to help you dig down deeper. So if you want some help on figuring out your own mission statement or personal why, or kind of help even refine your own teams, reach out. I can help you out. I got your back. So the next thing is fostering a one-team culture. This can be a little difficult, because we have a lot of personalities, a lot of different thoughts on how to solve problems. And that's okay, because that's how we, diversity of thought, that's how we continue to get better. There's been a lot of projects that I thought my way was right. We tried it. It did not work. And that's all right. Because it's all about continuously failing forward. But how do you bring the team together and marching towards that ultimate mission and vision and purpose? And so, back in the 1995-96 NBA season, the Chicago Bulls had one of the most historic records that lasted almost 20 years up until 2015. They had 72 wins and only 10 losses in that season. Would last for 20 years until the Golden State Warriors broke that record back in 2015. The only difference is they didn't win the championship ultimately, and the Bulls did. Woo-hoo! Let's go, Jordan. And so, in any documentary or interview that you see from the team or the coaches about that season, every single one of them talk about how it was really truly a team effort. It wasn't just all about Jordan. It was all about, hey, how they came together and supported each other's strengths, shored up each other's weaknesses, and they really leaned on each other, and they had a historic season. And also keep in mind, this was actually right after Jordan came back out of retirement, and people weren't really sure, does he still got it? Well, he still had it, and which led to this quote for that season, talent wins games, but teamwork and intelligence win championships. And so how do you foster a one-team culture. And so at Centerpoint, during that 2-year period, we transformed that whole culture inside out. We did a lot of different things from, athlete-led spirit teams. We did a lot of different activities. One of the things that really brought the entire team together was doing an activity called Shikumi. And so if there's any Lean Six Sigma folks here, you know what I'm talking about. The rest of you, you're like, Shikumi, what? So Shikumi basically is a mapping where we bring all the team together and we map out the entire holistic process end to end of either the building or the business, whatever you're looking at. So it helps map out, product flow, information flow, data flow, and it really just takes a look at the full-scale holistic view of how your operation functions. And I can tell you from doing this now, several different iterations, not any one person has all the processes down. A lot of times we have a lot of exceptions in our processes, a lot of exception processes, to meet demand. And so who we have, usually these typically take about a week long to do. And we have everybody from all different shifts, all shifts in representation, every department from operations, inventory, HR. So we have everybody in the room, even at all different levels of the organization, from our material handler, athletes from the shop floor, all the way up to the building leader, and everybody in between, because everybody has a voice in the problem-solving process. And I'll tell you what, really lean on your people on the shop floor who's doing the work every day, because they have a lot of beautiful knowledge, and a lot of times they have the key unlocks. So definitely lean on them. So it typically takes about a week long. And the 3 big reasons that we do a Shikumi, which we do once a year, we do our continuous improvement cycle, is really understanding and knowledge, is to understand the full scale, what everything is for current state. And once you understand current state, you can identify your gaps. So if we know what our current state is, and we have a general idea of what future state, what we want it to look like, then you have your gap. So if, say, for example, if we're shipping out 1 million units a month right now, and we want to get to 1.5 million units. So 1 million minus 1.5 is, oh, come on, guys. You can do this. I believe in you. 1.5 minus 1 is, there we go. I appreciate you. There we go. I like audience participation. So that's your gap. So once you understand what your gap is, then you go into continuous improvement initiatives to solve for your gap. And then you can go into any type of solutions. Sometimes solutions can be simple or super complex. And so that's how we were able to take one of our oldest warehouses on a data infrastructure, data technology, and we're able to drive some truly amazing results. Employee turnover, this is our ETW contingent workforce, and our full-time combined was down 45%. People were actually happy to come to work because we made it fun. We tied it to our ultimate mission and vision. We had different spirit days, from like Hawaiian shirt Fridays to just different theme days like that. So employee turnover was down to 45% because we were able to move 56% more units or 58% more units through the building. We had more of a budget, so we were able to move around 40 to 60 of our temp workers over into full-time Nike employees. We had dozens of internal promotions. Costs to process cartons were dropped by 17%, and also processing errors by 90%. Absolute wild. World headquarters actually came back. Centerpoint does all of the sports marketing portion of Nike, and they actually came back and said that was one of the best sports marketing peak seasons in the history of Nike, all through the power of our people. Even Carlton Fields, our AGM of Centerpoint, says it best. When you take care of people, the boxes just move themselves. And this is actually a video of they had one of our spirit days. I think it was a Friday, and we had a shootout challenge. And so we were all back there with our ball at the ball court. I think this is actually an ETW. I was reaching out, and I think he's in the process of I think we've moved him over to full time. And I forgot the name of the game, but you have to shoot all the 3-pointers around the half court and then all the way back. And he, made it all the way back and actually won the competition. So we're like, we got to get this dude a deal, man. Yeah. Just crushing it. Let's go, baby. Someone posted this online. It's like millions of views within the first week. Let's go. Woo! That's right. Heck yeah. And so that's the power of, man, just bringing the team together, man. Having fun, doing something that's worth meaning, and it was awesome. Oh, so asking you guys, so how are you guys fostering a one team culture mindset? What are you guys doing on a day-to-day basis? Different theme days, Hawaiian Shirt Fridays, that's always a go-to for me because why not? Even in winter, okay? You got to show up with all the spiritness. And so ultimately going to how do you ultimately empower your team members? John Maxwell said it best, a leader is great not because of his or her ability or power, but because of his or her ability to empower others. And so leading into Nick, so when I first stepped on at Centerpoint, they didn't have the budget to bring me on as a project manager, lean continuous improvement consultant full time. So I took over their inventory manager role for that building, but also was their lean continuous improvement guy, culture guy, culture champion. I wore a lot of hats in that building. So I led a team of 9 in the inventory department, and one of our cycle counters, entry level position. Test 1, 2, there we go, was Nick. And so he'd been with Nike at that point for 5 years, and he expressed to me, he's like, Jeff, I really want to grow in my leadership ability. I want to take on more responsibility. I want to help have a bigger impact. And even though Nick at the time didn't have all the skill sets necessary to excel, I saw within him he had the passion, he had the characteristics of a true servant leader. And so when we had a spot open for the inventory supervisor, one of our supervisor positions, I promoted him to that role and spent the next year and a half pouring into him. And he was my right-hand guy, led all the different projects that we had going on in inventory. And now still talking to him today. He's actually in the process of interviewing to become an area manager at one of our other DCs. So it's all about taking time to pour into your people, spending monthly one-on-ones with them, handwritten notes saying thank you. Just taking time to take care of people and really just listening. People don't really understand just how much of a big impact listening is, but I always tell my team, we all have lives outside these 4 walls. And so if you have something going on, definitely feel free to reach out. We're here to help support you, listen, and take care of you as you take care of your family and as we take care of the business. And it leads me to another story. Her name is Felicia, 30-year Nike vet on the team. And when I came in the door, she told me immediately, she said, Jeff, it's like I've seen leaders come and go. They've said similar messages in the past. But I'm just going to let you know now, Jeff, here's my responsibilities. I don't want to do any more. I don't want to do any less. I don't want to listen to your continuous improvement stuff. I was like, yes, ma'am. And so I wasn't pushy. I just kept on supporting her, kept listening to her objections. And actually, she actually, whenever we were bringing up different potential projects, she actually was one of the honest voices in the room, giving her concerns. And she actually helped us to continue to get better, which was awesome. But fast forward to about 8 months ago, she actually came into my office. Previously to that, she was going through some hard times at home. And so I told her, I was like, hey, take the time you need. We're here to support you. Listen to her. And we just supported her and her family as she was going through that time. And 8 months ago, she stepped into my office just in tears. Just tell me, he's like, Jeff, you're one of the best leaders I've ever had. And I just want to say I appreciate you for showing up, being there for me and my family. And then and just threw me for a loop. Then he even said, like, hey, I think I'd actually start just shadowing other positions so I could start learning more of the business. And I was like, who are you and where's the Felicia I know? So this stuff works, guys. Taking care of people, connecting to an ultimate vision that takes care of people in the world, and just working hard to bring the team together and solve problems. And when you do that, oh my gosh, you'll gain synergy. The team will open up. You'll unlock their true potential that you didn't even know that was there. And I know this because having leaders help me unlock my potential. I wouldn't be here with you guys here today. And so all that to say is, Helen Keller really said it best. Alone we can do so little, but together, gosh, we can do so much. And that's what a supply chain is all about. We can't ship the box from wherever. It takes literally all of us to get stuff moving. That includes making a difference in people. What do you guys think? All right, there we go. So I really appreciate you guys. Yeah, so I guess we got a few more minutes. We can open up for questions. And I'm pretty open, so you can ask me whatever. Oh, there we go.
Hi, that was a great talk. I'm just curious how you would foster culture when you work in a remote environment and not
Remote.
warehouse day to day.
So that's a great question. So how do you foster that team culture in a remote environment? Definitely have set the expectation to turn your cameras on. That's always kind of weird to not connect whenever you can't see the person. So yeah, I definitely suggest creating a culture or an expectation. Hey, we want to see your face. Even if the hair doesn't look just right, it's all right. We're all people. We're gonna love each other, and we're gonna be there for one another. Have daily stand-ups. Yeah, so that would be our first 2 points: is continue to have daily one-on-one or daily stand-ups as a team. Have the camera on, and then continue to have monthly one-on-ones with your direct reports, just to check in with them. And not even talk about business. I always start out like, hey, how are you doing? How's life treating you? And I always tell them, hey, be honest with me. I'm here to support you. I'm here to listen. And that also means that we have to be vulnerable with our team, which it can be scary, But if you set the expectation as leader to be open, to be vulnerable, and to admit your vulnerabilities or your weaknesses, your team will feel inclined to do so as well. Because none of us have it all together. None of us are perfect. We all have our weaknesses and our strengths. So let's continue to pour into each other. Great question. And I'm gonna continue to think about that question. I appreciate that. Good stuff. What else we got? Awesome. Well, I definitely appreciate you guys. If feel free to reach out. Anything I do. Oh, sorry, we got one right here. Sorry, I didn't see your hand. Sorry.
I usually don't ask questions in the conference, but really like the talk you provide today is really meaningful. I'm truly believe in the servant leadership, but recently I encountered like some situation, like some like lower performer. I just feel like they're so tough, and then is like keep like making mistakes or like error rates always high. I feel like I'm coming to at some point. Like I feel like servant leadership doesn't really work that much anymore. Like I feel like I'm here to support you, help you, but I cannot really help you to handle your daily life. I'm really curious. I assume you probably also encounter this kind of situation a lot in the warehouse side. So I'm wonder what's your mindset and how you hold their hands and like grow together.
Gotcha. So talking about like for employees maybe are underperforming, and kind of how do you help to support them? Yeah, no, that's a great. Low level of mistakes. Okay, that's a good question. So I think it would just seeking to understand the kind of what the performance expectation is, how are they performing, and I always go back to just have an honest conversation like, hey, what's going on at home, or hey, how can we help you out, or what's going on, how can I continue to help support you, and it really just goes back to also trying to connect their work to a bigger mission, because sometimes people don't really see the point of what they're doing and they're just kind of showing up for a paycheck. So trying to connect to a greater mission and vision, so that way they feel connected to something bigger than them. And then on top of that, if there's something that is going on, maybe there are some struggles at home or something like that, and there's certain thresholds that we can't cross in that arena. But just being an open listening ear and just guide them towards getting the help that they need and support. Yeah, because sometimes, because I know my own personal life, it took some leaders kind of having that tough conversation with me of re-clarifying expectations, like, hey, Jeff, this is where you're at. This is where I need you to be. How can I help you to get there? And that helped me to kind of wake up, because sometimes they don't know how they're showing up at work. Self-awareness is a skill set in itself, and so bringing that conversation to the forefront will help them realize, hey, you're not showing up as your best self, and how can I help you get there? Yeah, that's a good question. I appreciate you. That is it for me, folks. If you feel like continue the conversation, feel free to reach out. I got your back. This is going to be let's continue to show up for our teams, make a difference in the world, and let's keep making a difference as servant leaders. All right. Woo! Woo! Appreciate you, team.